Hey guys, this is Time Force Reacts, and I'm back to do a death battle prediction video for the upcoming death battle that's coming out next week. It's for Wally West versus Archie Sonic. So, Wally West Flash versus Sonic the Hedgehog from the Archie comics line. And, oh boy, this is difficult. I didn't think, there'd be anybody who'd be able to give Archie Sonic this good of a challenge outside of maybe pre-Crisis Superman. But dang it, I looked into what Wally West can do and it's insane. Quite insane. So I should probably give a rundown on each character, and though I didn't really look up their history or anything, I'm just going by what I kind of know about both of them. And so Wally West was known as Kid Flash, aka Flash's sidekick, before Barry Allen died in the Crisis on Infinite Earth event, and so Barry and Wally took his place as the Flash. And whether he actually prevented the Crisis, or whether he survived the Crisis or not, I don't actually know. But yeah, So yeah, Wally West is also known throughout basically all of DC as the best Flash, as in he's consistently shown to be the best one, the fastest one. And they're kind of correct. Even though Barry Allen is the one who generates the Speed Force and Wally West is just another conduit, Wally West has surpassed Barry Allen so many times over by this point. So, for one, okay, so I'll name a few feats here. He punches with the strength of a white dwarf star, which I did some calculations, and that's about the strength of 200 decillion tons of TNT, which is insane. And he does this by vibrating his fist at light speed, or maybe even faster, and just punching like that, and that's basically how it's the infinite mass punch. Basically, it's potentially technically the infinite mass punch has unlimited potential depending on how long, Flash charges it. So, yeah, then he was tackled through the world by Zoom. I read that in a Respect Wally West thread. I don't know what that means. He's held his own against Zoom, Mongol, Savitar. He's even briefly kind of fought the Anti-Monitor, but the Anti-Monitor was clearly just messing around with him. So he can resist hypnosis and other brain-related attacks. And he sent Black Racer, aka the avatar of death that was literally created because speedsters can outrun death. It was literally created to catch up to speedsters. And so how did Wally survive it? He sent him to the end of time where nothing exists. So yeah, but that's not even the craziest thing Wally West has done. There is one feat that he's done, though I don't think they can necessarily count it. Death Battle can necessarily count it, because, well, for one thing, Wally outran instant teleportation. That's freaking insane and pretty much impossible. So, but he did this by absorbing the kinetic energy of literally everyone on Earth, including superheroes like Superman. So I doubt they'll be able to count that. So I don't know how many of his speed feats are actually able to be actually counted because of the kinetic energy he absorbs from people. But when we get to Sonic, well, that's an entirely different story. But yeah, then probably the most insane feat I've seen is that he outran the Speed Force. That shouldn't be possible. He outran the Speed Force, aka the very source of every speedster's power, including him. Barry Allen's the one who generates it, like, and the Speed Force is like this other dimension thing that it's like, it's literally just nothing but speed. And Wally West outran it. Somehow. How does this happen? And due to this, because he can outrun the thing that gives him the ability to, have super speed, that pretty much means his speed is incalculable. The potential for how fast Flash Wally can go is unlimited. Unlimited potential. Not to say he can go to an unlimited amount. Well, he could. But his potential is just limitless in terms of speed. And the Speed Force, gives him all sorts of powers, running fast for one thing, and obviously, and shooting lightning, catching lightning and all that, and being the infinite mass punch thing. Also, he has limited regeneration, meaning he heals really fast, but sometimes bones get broken out of place, and when his healing factor heals it, it doesn't heal right, so Wally would have to break his own, if he broke his hand, if he dislocated his hand or something like that. I know there was a comic panel I actually read about that, and he said he basically said, I'm gonna have to break it again just so the bones can heal back in the right place. So yeah, it's limited regeneration, but it's still a healing factor nonetheless. But then we get to his reaction time, and I guess he could be scaled to Barry Allen because Wally's obviously the best Flash, and Barry can process thoughts in an attosecond, which is the fastest which is the lowest amount of time that humanity has ever calculated. So and yeah, that's though but when I looked at the Wally West respect thread, the best reaction feats I could find were just regular light speed, and that really sounds weird to say, just regular light speed, because Wally surpassed light speed millions of times over by now, even trillions of times over by now, unlimited times over by now. But yeah, which is weird because that's the only reaction speeds I can find for Wally, just light speed reaction speed. So yeah, and so if that's true or not, probably not. I'm just gonna compare him to Barry and add a second reaction speed. Then of course on other stuff phasing and vibration control and molecular control. Basically, phasing means he can just vibrate so fast that he can just pass through solid objects, and it can even the vibrational control can even stop others from going intangible, like Martian Manhunter, for instance. Then of course there's time travel, because of course. and that's how he sent Black Racer to, the end of time. He just traveled forward into the future so far that until basically nothing existed. And so yeah, and his durability is kind of hard to say, but considering he can tank hits from other speedsters like Zoom and maybe even Savitar, it's safe to say that he can absorb hits with White Dwarf Star durability, with his infinite mass punches, and Zoom has been said to punch with the power of a White Dwarf Star. So yeah, that's it. That's pretty much all I got for Wally West. But as you can tell, it's really hard to really find a limit for Wally West because mainly because his speed makes his potential limitless. So yeah, then we have Archie Sonic. for those of you who don't know anything about Archie Sonic, prepare yourselves. So here's some feats I got for Sonic. He's smart enough to build a biplane, you know, the tornado thing, you know, the tornado that Tails usually flies around in. Yeah, Sonic built that. Let's see, he's defeated Interjack, Mogul, Ugly Naugus, etc. Keep in mind, those guys were... I'll get into what they can do later. He outran a time stop, which is kind of comparable to Flash, you know, outrunning the Speed Force, because time stop speed is relative to time. So if Sonic can still move during a time stop, he's either got a stand, like Jotaro, he's either got, you know, Star Platinum, or the world, or Zawarudo, or he's just out complete, or his speed is unlimited, and he doesn't rely on time. But that's not even the... And that makes the speed incalculable, pretty much. And yeah, it's... So already he's kind of comparable to Flash in that regard. Sonic has survived deatomization. I'll get into that later. Deatomization. And he's... when he goes ultrasonic, which is when he uses, like, one Super Emerald, he can manipulate elements at a molecular level. When one villain, like, fired, like, an attack called the Ultimate Annihilator, which had the power to, like, to create, like, to create or destroy, like, multiple zones. And keep in mind, zones in Archie Sonic are their own universes. So and the Ultimate Annihilator was fired right at Sonic, and he survived ground zero of a multiversal attack. Sonic wasn't even using any Chaos Emeralds. It was just base Sonic. And then as Super Sonic, he can stop multiversal rewriting. AKA, like, with the Genesis Wave, I think it was called, that Eggman, you know, tried to, you know, use to rewrite the universe to his will, the multiverse to his will. Super Sonic stopped it, and in order... Now, a lot of people would say, like, Sonic's only needs to manipulate his own universe. No, in order to do such a thing, he needs to overcome the entire Genesis Wave. So he stopped a multiversal rewriting with some help from Super Mega Man, because that was the crossover event. So yeah. So it's... Yeah, it's insane. Like... Okay, yeah, and alright, let's get to his powers. Like I said, incalculable speed, you know, because he outran a freaking time stop. With the Chaos Emeralds, he can manipulate time and reality. Time isn't that much of a surprise, considering even we're manipulating time is a thing consistent in the games too, you know, chaos control and all that. But reality manipulation, that's like, you know, but he needs Chaos Emeralds to do so. I probably should have said that, but at the same time, they're probably going to give him the Chaos Emeralds, so of course. And reality manipulation, like I said, Super Sonic stopped a multiversal rewrite, so with this whole reality manipulation thing. As Super Sonic, he can go intangible, erase beings from existence, because that's something Chaos Emeralds can do. Chaos Emeralds can also seal, you know, enemies within them. You can create force fields and something called holy manipulation. I can't remember what that was all about, but yeah, Super Sonic's OP. Like, way too OP. So, yeah, just a second. Alright, sorry about that. Okay, so then there's Ultra Sonic, which only needs one Super Emerald to activate, and thank God that the hyper form was never introduced into Archie Sonic, because Hyperform requires the 7 Super Emeralds. Ultrasonic is just 1. Ultrasonic's freaking OP. Here's the thing: 1 Super Emerald is more powerful than the 7 Chaos Emeralds. Because when he had 1 Super Emerald, he briefly became Supersonic, and then went into Ultrasonic. Okay. So Ultrasonic can, like I said before, can manipulate elements at a molecular level. He can open portals to other zones/universes, and including something called the Zone of Silence, where nothing exists. Then there's adaptation, where he can become I can't remember them all, but it's basically when he needs to adapt to his current environment. Ecosonic's one of them, plant terrain, and then a sort of fire sonic, water sonic, something like that. He can just adapt to his surroundings as Ultrasonic. And then there's he actually has 2 swords that I want to bring up. One is a Sword of Light, but that's not going to be really useful in this fight because it really only works with dark magic, and that's kind of not really the whole thing for Flash. So then there's the stupidly named, I will flame it, Sword of Acorns, which can heal him. It can absorb other people's powers. It can severely reduce other people's powers, or even nullify them completely, and induce complete paralysis on opponents. Just the Sword of Acorns, despite the stupid name, is really OP. So, and then there's something that Sonic has that I really need to bring up. It's his, I don't know if they're going to include it, but people are going to be asking about it if they don't include it. And it's when Sonic in the Archie comics eventually got 1 billion rings. And when done so, he was granted what was called the 1 billionth ring aura, which basically ensures that Sonic always comes out on top with a victory. It may not be right now, it may not be in the next few minutes, but he will eventually always win. It is pretty much ordained. When you have a 1 billionth ring aura, it is ordained that you will eventually win against your opponent. You can see how that's OP. So, yeah, and okay, so now, but even with all of this, it's really hard to decide who to win. And it's because it's not a case of they have this one thing that completely, that gives them a clear edge over the other. It's not like that at all. Wally, here's the thing, from what I've heard, Wally, when someone tried to erase Wally from existence, he literally just ran and said nope. So existence erasure's not gonna work with Supersonic, doing that. Sealing's probably not gonna work because Flash can travel through other universes just by vibrating, because that's the thing that Flashes can do. Ultrasonic getting him to the Zone of Silence might work, because it's kind of similar to how when Flash took Black Racer to the end of everything, the end of time. They are kind of similar, but but I'm not sure but considering Flash can still can still travel through other dimensions, I don't feel as though that would really work. But due to Sonic surviving these insane attacks and all of this, he was able to stop multiversal rewriting, which is basically a crisis event in DC Comics terms. Well, and Wally was not able to do that. And granted, Sonic had help from Mega Man, but Flash had help from pretty much everybody else in DC Comics, pretty much. So even if he survived, even if he resisted the whole rewriting of the DC multiverse, I don't think that Yeah, it's yeah. This yeah, you can tell I had to write a lot of this down. But due to this, I I hesitate to say anything simply because simply because I haven't had that much luck when it comes to predicting these kinds of things. I hope I get it right, but at the same time, I probably jinx it every time. And maybe I'm a bit biased because I want DC to lose their winning streak again. Because the last time they were on a roll until Ghost Rider fought Lobo, and I was really happy to see that Ghost Rider came out on top. And, finally ended DC's winning streak. But that was only against a Marvel characters, and believe it or not, Death Battle's only had 6 Marvel versus DC fights. And so far, like, any non-DC character has not won a single Death Battle against a DC character. Goku versus Superman, Ben 10 versus Green Lantern, and a multitude of others. Wonder Woman versus She-Ra. That was recent. That was kind of recent. We have a chance, guys, because I believe Archie Sonic would win. Not because he really has that much of a clear advantage over Wally, because Wally's survived existence erasure before, but thing is, I just feel like Sonic just has more versatility than Wally does. It's a difficult call to make, because while they do have like perfect counters for each other, like, Wally can steal others' speed, so can Sonic, kinda, I guess, but like due to both having incalculable speed, I don't see how that would really help much. and Sonic has had his speed stolen before, and he was able to come back from it in a matter of seconds. He was able to rejuvenate in a matter of seconds, and overall, just they have perfect counters for the other. But Sonic just has more going for him, I guess. It's not an easy battle to decide. Like I don't even know if they'll give Sonic like the Sword of Acorns thing, because I don't know if I don't know if they'll count that. I hope they do, because I want them to bring up how OP this freaking sword is with its stupid name. But I think the thing that ultimately ties it over for me is, and it's something I don't know if Death Battle's going to include, and that would be, the 1 billionth ring aura, which ensures Sonic will win eventually. Yeah. At the end of the day, I do think Archie Sonic's going to win, but if Wally pulls out a win, I will be disappointed, but I will not be surprised. Because if there's one thing Death Battle's taught me, it's that DC characters are OP as fuck. They're OPAF. It's oh boy, it's really hard, but I do think Archie Sonic pulls out the win more times than not. It just, either way, I hope this proves to everyone, you do not fuck with Archie Sonic. It's just freaking OP. They've even talked about how broken Archie Sonic was when they were asked why they didn't include Archie Sonic in the Mario vs. Sonic, rematch. Because he's too powerful. And plus, one of them, Ben Singer, he's the guy he's been collecting Archie Sonic comics, Sonic from Archie comics. He's been collecting them. He has the pages in front of him. That's when he used them in that Archie Sonic is Broken Death Battle cast video. I didn't even cover even maybe a 10th of what either of these characters can do, but from what I have seen and from what I have read, I do think Archie Sonic could pull out a win more times than not. I just think that Archie Sonic is probably better if Archie Sonic fought like a 4th dimensional character like Darkseid or any of the new gods, really, because he seems to have a lot of these kinds of abilities. Like, Archie Sonic versus the Anti-Monitor could probably be a really good fight, and the Anti-Monitor made Flash look like Wally West look like an idiot. So, yeah, but who knows? I certainly don't. I'm. it's hard to decide, but I do think more times than not, Archie Sonic can pull out a win. If I'm wrong, probably. Am I wrong? Probably. Maybe. It's solid 50-50 because I am not good at these prediction videos, apparently. Out of the 9, now 10, I guess, I've done so far, only 2 of them have been right. So hopefully this makes it 3 out of 10, so maybe, who knows. So yeah, I'm just gonna end the video here, so hope you guys enjoy the prediction. I think Archie Sonic's going to win. If he doesn't, I won't be surprised. So yeah, until next time, guys. See ya.